Dear students, today we are going to see the lesson Federalism from Democratic Politics. Let us see the concepts of the lesson. What is the meaning of federalism? What is the difference between federalistic and unitary government? What are the characters of federalistic government? How federations are formed? What makes India a federal country? How federalism is practiced in our country? How decentralization is happening in India. Let us see the meaning of federalism. Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between central and constituent units. So unlike autocratic or military form of government, federalism is a democratic form of government in which the central government will be there. Apart from central government, there will be constituent units like state government and local governments will be there. So this kind of a government system is called a federalistic form of government. So in federalistic form of government, central government will be there, state government will be there, and in some country local government will be there. And federations have two or more constituent units. As I said, some countries will have central government and state government. In some other countries they have central, state and local government, and each units enjoy its own power. That means central government have their own power, state government have their own power, local government have their own power. So each constituent units have their own power. And in federalistic form of government, central government cannot order other levels. So they can give suggestions only. Whatever they are going to do, it should be decided by the state government. So here central government cannot order or rule the state government. The best example is India. In India we have central government, state government and local government. Together India is governed by a central government, and constituent units like Kerala, Tamil Nadu, it is all governed by the constituent unit named state government, and each state they will have local government. In Salem we have municipality. As it is a small city, we have municipality. So in India we can see central government, state government and a local government, and all these three units rule the same people. Next we are going to see unitary form of government. In unitary form of government, only one level of government will be there, that is central government. If at all constituent units are there, they cannot take their own decision like a federal government. In federal government, state government can take its own decision, but in unitary form of government, state government cannot take its own decision. Whatever the central government is telling, that they have to obey, or whatever the central government is ordering, that this state government has to follow. And the best example is United Kingdom. So one more time we will recap the difference between federal government and unitary form of government. In federal form of government there will be two or more level, but in unitary form of government only one level of government will be there. In federal form of government, central government cannot order other levels like state level or local level they cannot order. But in unitary form of government, central government can order its constituent unit. They have to obey the central government. In federal form of government, each units have its own power. Central government has its own power, state government have its own power, and local government have its own power. But in unitary form of government, only central government is having power, and other levels have to follow whatever the central government is telling. The best example for federalistic form of government is India, and the best example for unitary form of government is United Kingdom. It is an important question, 3-mark question. State the difference between federal form of government and unitary form of government. Next, we are going to see the features of a federalistic government. How can we say that a government follows federalism? That is what we are going to see. In federalistic form of government, what should be there? Two or more levels of government should be there. And both the levels, or how many levels are there, they enjoy separate jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is nothing but the legal authority lies within the levels. Central government is having its own legal authority, state government is having its own legal authority. That is what they are telling, separate jurisdiction for each level. And the authority is constitutionally guaranteed. You people, you all know that what is constitution. Constitution is a set of rules and laws to rule a country. So the jurisdiction is constitutionally guaranteed, and the change of provision needs mutual concern of all the levels. If central government or state government want to change any law or rule, they cannot do as they wish. They must get permission from mutually, they must get permission. Whatever, if state government want to change anything, they must get permission from central government. If central government want to change anything, they must get permission from state government. Likewise, mutually adjustment must go between central and state government, and court have the authority to interpret in the case of any dispute. If there is any problem between central government or state government, or any problem between two states, who can intervene? Only court can intervene. They have to file case in the court and it has to carry on. So court have the authority to interpret in the case of any dispute. Source of revenue is clearly specified for each level. So central government, state government, all these levels have different source of revenue. For example, we are taking railway tickets, so that income will go to central government, and we are paying electricity bill, water charges, that will go to respective state government. This is what they are telling here. Source of revenue is clearly specified for each level. These are the main features of a federalistic government. Next, we are going to see what are the dual objectives of federalism, or what are the principles of federalism. The major objective of federalism is to safeguard and promote the dignity of the country. Dignity means respect of one country is safeguarded by a federalistic government, and it accommodates regional diversity. I think you all know the term, what is regional diversity. Take the case of India. In India, we have different states, people speak different languages, they follow different religion. A federalistic government accommodate all these differences. That is what they are telling here, regional diversity. So what are the objectives of a federalistic government? To safeguard and promote the dignity of the country, accommodating regional diversity. It is an important one mark question, you can note it down. Next, we are going to see what are the aspects of a federalism. It is also an important question, one mark question. It has been repetitively asked for many examination. So what are the aspects of federalism? Mutual trust and agreement to live together. Mutual trust means central government and state government must trust or believe each other mutually, and they have to carry on all the functions or all the running of the government together. That is what they are telling here, agreement to live together. So note down this question, what are the aspects of federalism? Next, we are going to see how federations are formed, how a federalistic state is formed. There are two ways through which federations are formed, coming together and holding together. In coming together form of federation, independent states come together to form a federalistic government. Different states come together, it will be already a federalistic country, they come together and they will form federation. And in this kind of federation, each states retain its own identity. Each states will have its own identity, and they are more secured, and state government have equal powers. Whichever states are there in the particular federation, each and every states have equal power. No one is superior and no one is inferior. and there is no special powers for any state. All the states, state governments are treated as equal. The best example is USA. There are so many other states who form, who form federations through coming together. And next one is holding together. Holding together is nothing but a big country which is already a federalistic country. They divide their power among the constituent unit. When federations are formed by this holding together pattern, there will be no separate identity for each state, and security is much less in holding together federations. And in federalistic form of, in holding together form of federations, central government have more power than state or local government, and there are some special units which enjoy some special powers. The best example here is the union territories. Union territories in India like Pondicherry, Jammu and Kashmir, they have some special powers, and they are those units which enjoy special powers are called union territories. The examples I told you, Jammu and Kashmir and Pondicherry. There are 7 union territories. Why these union territories are formed? The major reason behind the formation of union territories are they are too small to become independent state. We cannot treat them as independent state because they are very, very small. For that reason, the central government has given some special powers for this units, and they are called union territory, and union territories are directly under the control of central government. Got it? So let us recap one more time. It is also an important question. State the difference between coming together and holding together federations. Coming together federation means independent states come together and they form federation. In holding together form of federation, a large country which divide its power. In coming together form of federation, they have their own identity, but in holding together form of federation, independent states have not much identity. Coming together form of federations are more secured than holding together form of federation. So holding together form of federations are less secured. In coming together form of federation, as I told you, all the state government have equal powers, or they enjoy equal power. But in holding together form of federation, central government is more powerful than state government or local government. In coming together form of government, no states enjoy special power, but in holding together form of federation, there are some special units which enjoy some special power, and they are called union territories. The best example of coming together form of federation is USA, and holding together form of federation is India. As I told you, children, you make it a point that it is an important question, the difference between coming together and holding together form of government. Next, how can we say that India is a federalistic country? We have already seen the characters of federation, that is existence of more than one level of government. Of course, in India we have 3 levels of government: central, states and union government, and there will be threefold distribution of power between the state and the central government. For administrative purpose, some areas are under the control of central government, some areas are under the control of state government, and we have categorized them into 3 major. 3 lists are union list, state list and concurrent list. Union list is nothing but the areas which is of national importance. The example I have given you, defense is having national importance. Next comes the state government. State government list contains the area which is having important in the state-wise importance. Importance is given state-wise. Example, police department and agriculture. Or state-wise the importance differs. Next comes the concurrent list. Concurrent list contains areas of both central and state government important. Example, adoption and marriage laws, rules. It is common everywhere in the central and state government areas. After formation of this union, state and concurrent list, some other areas developed in our country. So those areas, they have framed another list called residuary list. The best example for residuary list is the matters containing the matters related to information technology. This information technology is recently developed, so the matters related to information technology are coming under residuary list. Next, special status to some states as union territories. As I told you, some areas we cannot frame them as a separate state, so they have given those areas the status of union territories, and it is directly controlled by the central government. And in India, we have bilateral government, that is central and state government. Apart from that, we have local government is also there for administrative purpose. And in India, there is independent judiciary. Independent judiciary means the judiciary can interfere in the matters related to central government or state government. They no need to ask permission from anybody. They can directly intervene in the matters related to state government. So this is how we can say. So by examining all these things, we can say that in India, federalistic form of government is formed. This is also an important question. Kindly note down this question too. Next, we are going to see how federalism is practiced in our country. Last two slides we have seen why we are saying India as a federalistic country. Now we are going to see how federalism is practiced in our country. How it is practiced is by the existence of linguistic state. In India, states are divided on the basis of language. As you all know, Tamil Nadu, we speak Tamil. Kerala, we speak Malayalam. When you go to Karnataka, they speak Kannada. So mostly the states are divided on the basis of language. Even though they are divided on the basis of language, all the people are united. And also, in India, there is language policy. There is government follow a language policy. We don't have any national language. Only official languages are there, and there are some nearly 22 official languages are there. Tamil, Hindi, English. So these are all the official languages followed in India. So this is how federalism is practiced in our country, by the existence of linguistic state and by existence of language policy. Next, we are going to see decentralization in India. What is decentralization? Decentralization is nothing but dividing the power, taking some of the powers of central government, and it is divided between the state government. That is called a decentralization in India. How it is practiced? So before this decentralization, before the framing of decentralization, what happened in India is, if central government is different and the state government party is different. Central government is formed by one party, and if state government is formed by other party, if central government they don't like the state government, or the state government is a rival party of central government, what the central government will do? They will dismiss the state government before the amendment of Act 1992. Before this decentralization happening in India, what happens is, both central and state government have any rivalry between the parties, the central government will dismiss the state government for unwanted reason. After this amendment of Constitutional Amendment of 1992, or after framing the Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, they are telling, or they are following, regular elections for local government and reservation of seats for SC, ST and OBC candidates. They have reservation of seats in job, education and also in politics, and reservation of seats for women. 1/3 of the seats are reserved for women, and the elections should be controlled by independent electoral body called Election Commission of India, and revenue sharing between state and local government must happen. So state government, they will get revenue from central government, and the state government must share the revenue with the local government for the developmental purposes. So these are the provisions in the Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. After the amendment of Act, the central government, they cannot dismiss state government as they wish. Even though it is a rivalry party, it is very difficult for a central government to dismiss the state government as they wish. Nowadays there are so many parties are there, so we cannot form a government where the central and the state are ruled by the same party. So we will have this coalition government where two or more parties join together and they will rule the state or central government. So this Constitutional Amendment Act is giving more safety for the federalistic follow up in India. So one more time, let us recap what are all the provisions in Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. According to Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, regular elections must be held for local government. Either it is a municipality or it is a panchayat. And there must be reservation of seats for SC, ST and OBC candidates in assembly, in education, in government job, everywhere reservation of seats should be there, and reservation of seats for women too. 1/3 of the seats are reserved for women. And we have independent electoral body called Election Commission of India to take care of all the elections, and state government must share revenue with the local government. These are the provisions in the Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. By framing this Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, the government or the Constitution have given more power or more protections to local government. Next, we are going to see the local governing body for villages and towns. In villages, the local government body is called Panchayat Raj. Many Panchayat Raj join together to form a Panchayat Samiti at the district level, and the Panchayat Samiti join together to form Jila Panchayat at the Jila Panchayat, and the head of the Panchayat Raj is Sarpanch. In town, you all know municipality is there. The head of the municipality is mayor. Either in municipality or in Panchayat Raj, the elections must be held once in 5 years, and they have to keep on changing the Sarpanch and the mayor. These are all the major content of the lesson federalism. Hope you all have understood well. Let us see the important questions one more time. These are all the frequently asked questions. What is the difference between a federal government and a unitary system of government? What makes India a federal country? Differentiate coming and holding together federation. What are the characters of a federalistic country? Explain decentralization in India. So these are the frequently asked questions. Hope you all understood well, and thank you so much.